I'm going to say good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing today? Is it a beautiful evening? About daggone 80 degrees outside. Yes, it is. Bright, sunshiny. Hey, guys. It's amazing. I went to the park today and I seen a tree. It was great. I touched grass. It was amazing. Let me tell you. But I got a lesson today. This is another Bible lesson, guys. That's what I do. I'm the Bible guy. But I wanted to talk about King James only. Excuse me. I want to talk about King James only. We got any King James onlys out there? Where are my King James only crazies at? Oh, a lot of Baptists they only use the King James Bible. They'll say the only real Bible is the King James Bible. There's all kind of problems with that statement, guys. They'll say the King James is the only real Bible. All new Bibles are of the devil, and you got to burn them. There's actually people who burn Bibles and make videos of themselves burning Bibles. Like, you people are sickos. Now, I could understand if it was like putting something truly perverse in the Bible. No. But, yeah. What is this guy? I'm driving and this guy in front of me is going 10 miles an hour. Hey, why are you driving so slow? He's not even an African. I'm like, why are you driving? If he was an African, I would understand. Like, yeah, he's driving 10 miles per hour. Actually, guys, don't get mad at the Africans when they drive 10 miles per hour. Because you don't want them driving fast. Then everybody's going to die. You know, take your time. Be careful. Be safe. I'm with him. Take your time, buddy. Be safe. But all right, King James only people. They say the King James is the only real Bible. And that's crazy. First of all, the Old Testament in the King James Bible comes from what we call the Masoretic text. I know you guys know what the Masoretic text is. That's the Jewish Old Testament. It's the Jewish Hebrew. See, the Catholic Old Testament does not come from the Masoretic text. It comes from the Latin, and the Latin Vulgate, and the ancient Greek, and it don't come from the Jews. All right, the Protestant Old Testament comes from the Jews. That's just facts. The King James Old Testament comes from the Jews. It comes literally from the Jews, from the Masoretic text. What's the oldest copy they got? Like the Leningrad Codex or something like that? I don't know. Something like that. But it comes from a Jewish text that the Jews wrote, and they changed all kind of stuff in it, guys. Tiny little changes here and there they made. All right. But the Greek Septuagint agrees more with the Dead Sea Scrolls than the Masoretic text does. Okay, because they found a bunch of copies. Some people think the Dead Sea Scrolls are a forgery. Well, I think some of them are real, because if they were forgeries, you would think they would forge them so they would match the Masoretic text more closely. But instead they don't. They match the Christian scriptures more. They more closely align with the Septuagint. That's just a fact. So that the Dead Sea Scroll books and stuff they have line up more with what the Catholics had, actually. Let's be honest, guys. Hey, the Catholic Bible, the Catholic Vulgate says Moses has horns. That's what it says. The Catholic Bible's right. The King James Bible says Moses' face shone. It said it as Exodus 34th chapter. That's not what the Hebrew says. Well, the Hebrew says horns, so actually the Masoretic text was right on that one. Masoretic text was right on Moses having horns. But the King James Bible, I'll actually say it's a terrible translation. The Old Testament is a good literal translation of the Masoretic text, I'll give you that. It is. It's a pretty good translation from the Hebrew. But it's a terrible translation, as first of all, it doesn't even tell you the God of the Old Testament. That's not the real God, obviously. But it doesn't even tell you his name. It says Jehovah. But like 4 times it might say Jehovah. Every other time it just says Lord. So the King James Bible is a Bible of confusion, actually. But anyway, the King James Bible is not the only Bible. That's ridiculous. Baptists are they're slow. They belong in the SPED, like Pastor Steven Anderson belongs in the SPED class, the special education unit. He'd be being there with all the kids with the wheelchairs, just drinking out of a sippy cup. That's where Pastor Steven Anderson and all the Baptists they all need to go to the special education class with all the slow kids. If you think the King James Bible is the only real Bible, something's wrong with your brain. That's the most ridiculous statement anyone can make. An ignorant statement. Uneducated, ignorant statement. Ignorant. You're ignorant. And first of all, the New Testament, the Christian canon that we have today, the Old Testament plus the New Testament, that's the Christian canon of books, is what you find in the King James. The Catholic Bible has more books. All right, well, originally the King James Bible had the Apocrypha, but then they took them out later. But the Catholic Bible has the Apocrypha. I got you beat. Got you beat. The Catholics got you beat, Protestants. They got more books. But actually, you guys can read whatever book you want. I would read the Gospel of Thomas. That's a good one. That's not in the King James. How come King James ain't got the Gospel of Thomas? Trash. That's like the best gospel. Okay, what was I talking? I had a good point. Let me not forget it. All right. So the canonical Bible that we have today, the Christians and Protestants alike pretty much have the same Bible. The Catholics, they have the Apocrypha in their Bible. Some Protestants use the Apocrypha. It depends on who you talk to. But pretty much they have 66 books or what, 81 or 82 books, whatever. Pretty much the same. They both have the Old Testament. They both have 4 Gospels, right? Well, that's not even the original New Testament canon. The original New Testament canon was made by Marcion. Marcion made the first ever New Testament. And in Marcion's New Testament, there was no Old Testament. All right, because the Old Testament has no place in a Christian book. Because that's Judaism. That's not Christianity. They worship a different God. They have different practices, different customs, different beliefs, different laws. All right, totally different, guys. Judaism has no place in Christianity. All right, but the original New Testament that was made, it was made by, put together, he didn't write it. Marcion, he collected all the books. He had one gospel, which is now turned into our Gospel of Luke. He had one gospel and 10 of Paul's letters. All right, that was the original New Testament, was one gospel and 10 of Paul's letters. And then the Catholic Church, they didn't agree with Marcion. So they created their own New Testament in response to Marcion's New Testament, and which contains all the books that you have in your Bible today. So the Christian canon that is in the King James Bible, those list of books, those books were made official. That was made by the Catholic Church. Even the King James has its origin in the Catholic Church, is what I'm trying to tell you guys. They think King James is anti-Catholic. It's still the exact same approved books by the Catholic Church. Those books were originally approved to be canonical by the Catholic Church. That's just facts. The New Testament that everybody has is Catholic. Fact. The New Testament that everybody uses today is Catholic. Facts. Or you can say it's Orthodox. But same thing. Orthodox, Catholic means the same thing. And it used to be the same church, guys. Orthodox and the Catholic Church used to be the same church. The New Testament that we have today comes from them. It's just have to admit it. It's facts. They made it. It's their book. And the King James is like a different version of it. King James uses the Jews. They went to the Catholic Church, didn't go to the Jews for help. I don't think they did. They don't need no help from a Jew. Because the King James, they couldn't even read Hebrew. That's to tell you how dumb they were. They had to go get help from the Jews. It's like, I don't know. I know there's a big old council. I'm just joking, guys.